I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional owners of the land on which I stand. I would like to extend that acknowledgement to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who may be watching today. Sovereignty was never ceded. It always was, and always will be, Aboriginal land. My name is Miss Cairo, and welcome to the second edition of Conversations with Miss Cairo. I am a light brown skinned woman, and I have a medium brown afro. There is a white and mint green teacup in front of me in the foreground, and a white teapot with little pink roses on it. I am sitting on a beige chair, and there is a white wall behind me with some light cascading on it because it's a beautiful, beautiful day today. So to start off our journey, I'd love us to do some breathing exercises together. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 5, hold for 5, and exhale. And hold. And exhale. And again. And once more. So I've often said there's 2 ways to enter a space. You can either breathe out or breathe in. When you breathe out, you're bringing something into the space. You're bringing something to the table. But sometimes you could be bringing your baggage, your stress, your annoyance, your frustration. If you imagine walking into a room and you breathe out, you're expelling more air into that room. So you're putting more pressure on everyone that's already in there. But if you take a breath in as you're walking through the door, it means that you're meeting the space with the same energy, or you're not necessarily taking up space. You're finding out what energy that is in the room. So it means that you can absorb your surroundings and you can be a part of them. I always find that it's so important to breathe in as I walk into any situation because it helps prepare me and know where everyone else is at. And then when you take your first breath together, you can have a really good conversation, a really good dialogue together. I could go into more on that at a later date. Just a little musings of mine. So where am I at this week? Well, it's been a week since lockdown. A week since the news of our lockdown extension and our roadmap, and I am absolutely exhausted. It has been a week. It's been the first time of this lockdown I've actually been bored. I think knowing that I can almost go for a government sanctioned walk has been really, it's not fair. I just want to do it now. I think one of the key things for me this week has been about connection. My activism, my advocacy, all of my jobs that I'm doing have bled me dry. I feel so drained, so exhausted, and I think it's because I'm not getting that connection that I like all the time. It's a different kind of energy that you're coming in with these spaces. And I felt like I was like hammering my head against a brick wall sometimes. My idioms are great, so I make things up sometimes. Banging my head against a brick wall, I think that's it. But yeah, and I was, instead of disengaging from the situations, I kept like thinking about them and spending more energy and spending time and wasn't connecting with the situation in a positive way. But I had a moment where I was in a Zoom meeting with about 100 different artists, and it was a space where I felt that I could express myself freely, and I could rage, and I could cry, and I could express like how I'm feeling in the moment without any judgment. And it was so healthy and cathartic for me. And it was so wonderful to actually get to connect with other people in a really real, visceral way. And from then on, it kind of put me back into the mindset that I, thrive in being. I'm very tired today as well. I was up till 5 o'clock this morning editing videos, which is always fun. But I am awake. I'm here. I have my tea, which I'm not going to say who the brand is because they haven't sponsored us yet. Insert name here. So in order to start off today's second edition, we are going to be bringing on our next guest. So Shamita Siva is a multifaceted performer and director who enjoys choreographing and devising new work. Trained in dance from an early age, after over 16 years of multiple dance styles, she developed an interest in forms such as Buto alongside her acting. Shamita is a keen writer and director and is popularly consulted for movement direction. She often incorporates intercultural practices and cross-disciplinary elements into her work, inspired by everyday experiences, music and sound, and socio-political issues. So normally when I'm on stage, I get people to whoop, holler and cheer, but we are on a different platform. But you are more than welcome at home with your brunch and your teas and coffees to whoop and holler and cheer as we bring on Shamita Siva.
Hello. Can you see me? Yeah, we're good. Look at these claps. Look at the claps. I like to do these ones because they're like the silent support gesture.
I just have to apologise to all of our viewers. We do have some sound issues at the moment. I think it might be the platform, so please bear with us as we get through this sound issue. So, how are you today, Shamita?
I'm good. Snap, and pop. I'm good. I'm going to turn down the volume. I did a little morning meditation this morning for half an hour, so I'm feeling nice and zen from that. Yeah, I had a yummy protein shake, caught up with some girlfriends of mine. Yeah, so generally the day is shaping up to be pretty good.
Yeah. What did you have in your protein shake?
Oh, I had. So I'm obsessed with, I'm not going to like brand sprick here, but I'm obsessed with this particular flavor. It's like a strawberry milk flavored vegan protein. And like strawberry, banana, and what else was there? Hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, oat milk, just like real wholesome.
I always have my like these little moments where I'm like, I'm gonna be really healthy. I'm gonna get the blender and get all of these things, and then I buy the things, and then everything goes moldy.
Do you just snack on them like by themselves? Because sometimes I just do that. I feel like I just buy the bag, and then I just end up eating the seeds on their own, putting them into my smoothie.
Well, at least you're getting your 5 a day, which is a good thing.
Exactly. But yes, morning's been good. What about you, Miss Cairo?
I've had a shower. I've been setting this up today.
Yeah, I'm loving your teacup.
Pardon?
I said I'm loving your teacup. It's very cute. It's very
on brand. Do you have a tea or coffee or anything with you?
I have a cup of like hot lemon water because no.
So
and it's not as aesthetically pleasing.
And so how have you been finding lockdown?
I think that lockdown has been such a whirlwind. Like I've never had such a whirlwind of emotions in a concentrated span of time. Like I think it started off being like, oh God, this is so shitty, we're all gonna die. Sorry, am I doing this?
I think
sorry, Brandon. Started out feeling kind of crap, and then moved into, I guess I was like lockdown living, you know. I was thriving for a little bit. I was like, I need this space. I need this time to just chill. This is good for me. And then I went through a period of absolute boredom where I was like, I am sick of sitting at home, I'm not creating. And now it's, you know, week what, 8 of stage 4, week 7 of stage 4. And now I think I'm just like over it.
Well, the good thing is we can actually go for walks with other people tomorrow. I am a bit confused because I've seen people like going up to social distance walks with people like beforehand. I was like, I'm pretty sure we weren't allowed to do that. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell with all of the guidelines and stuff, but I don't know. I think I quite enjoy the walks on my own more than I think I do with friends, because as much as I was meeting up with like a walking party for a while, I noticed that when we were both around once, it just became so difficult to actually understand each other that I was like, no, I'd rather just walk by myself. Oh god, yeah, it was a plan.
I'm just gonna like this is I'm gonna admit the sound is really distracting. Do we have any earphones?
The sound is horrible. Do you want me to try and get some? I don't have any right now.
If there's a hand, great, but if not, like we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. No, the cracking is too bad. Maybe I need to just like whisper and help.
I mean, a little bit.
No.
That's gonna be all
right. If I sit all the way back here, maybe we won't. Nah. Oh, this is better, isn't it? Well, this is yeah, and I'm just like headphones. I could try and run and grab some headphones.
Yeah,
do you want to go? Some headphones?
Yeah, do you want to go grab them and I'll.
Okay, momentary pause.
Yeah. So just mind our small little technical difficulty. Obviously, this is a new platform for all of us. You know, we are not a film studio. We are separate people in all different places of Melbourne sorting this out. Big shout out to Brandon and Melissa, who are behind the scenes working their little butts off. Oh, I didn't plan for this. So I have to do some shimmies, which probably isn't appropriate for Sunday morning. Yes. Oh god, it's all good. It's all fine. I mean, crap happens on stage all the time, and you know, I am an improviser. I've been learning the skills of improvisation since the age of 5, so I should be fine. I might just quickly talk about the hashtag IGiveMyself. So, unfortunately, I didn't get anyone sending any pictures in this week, which is absolutely fine. We've all got stuff to do. But if you, I'm all into self-care. I'm all into celebrating what people do. So if you, you know, this isn't a competition. I don't want to frame self-care in a way where someone's doing self-care the hardest or the best. Any self-care is the best, and even if you can't practice self-care, that's also fine. So with hashtag IGiveMyself, what I would like you to do is take a photo or a video, or even write a status about something that has you've given yourself. So it could be a nice bubble bath, it could be an amazing dinner that you made, it could be the light cascading through the window, it could be absolutely anything that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, but something that you've given yourself. I think that's a really great thing to frame it. So if you take a picture, write a status, take a little video or anything, and post it on Facebook or Instagram with the hashtag IGiveMyself. Tag me as well if you want to as well. And we will be able to send you a little gift next week when we announce who has brought me some joy. I mean, I want to give everyone something because you're all going to be bringing me joy. But, you know, just a little incentive there. Right, so I think Shamita is ready now. So we're going to bring her back.
I am ready. Is this better?
No. Oh.
Oh?
Okay. Oh.
Maybe? I have a feeling that, oh, Mel, yes. I have a feeling it might just be this platform. I think. But hey, we will get by. We'll get by.
We'll get through it. We'll get through it together. We're in it together, and I'm here for that. So how have you been? So I'm an ex-dancer myself. I'm going to say ex-dancer. I still do dance. And I know what it feels like being trapped in four walls. So how have you been kind of passing the time as a dancer in isolation? Like, how have you been connecting with your body and mind and soul?
Yeah, it's oh God, I think that when I really think about it, I probably haven't been so much in the last couple of weeks. I think in the early part of ISO, I was like, look at all this time I have. Look at all this time I have to, do other classes that I didn't get time to do. Or like, catch up with choreographers doing stuff out of the way. Right. Ooh, I'm still hearing some crunch. But I think that I had that ISO living kick where I was like, this is great. And then I think my body started to drop off the radar a little bit. I was starting to feel very out of touch with myself, and I gave myself a joyful little hamstring injury about 3 months ago. Yay!
Yay!
So yeah, funnily enough, I gave it to myself when I was doing a bit of a contemporary free flow. I was really vibing, like really enjoying myself. I think your body doesn't necessarily maintain itself unless you maintain it, So I wasn't really doing the conditioning work that I probably should have been doing, given what I was doing to my body at that time. So I kind of strained that, and so that was a little bit of an issue. And at the moment, I think I'm trying to make a conscious effort to dance at least like once a week, even if the rest of it is like working out and training in other formats. Dance-wise, I'm going to try and at least do that. And I also had a bit of a demotivating moment when a friend and I have been working on a dance film for the last, probably since April, I think. And that's just been like a beautiful process. And I think we were super motivated at the start of ISO to be like, let's just get this done. And, as soon as August or September rolls around, we'll be able to film this trailer, choreograph, etc. And yeah, that hasn't happened. So I think both of us kind of started to feel like we were, our skill set and fitness levels were slipping a little. So we kind of have been in this weird funk, I think. And I'm sure that a lot of other dancers can relate. I mean, speaking to a few other dance friends of mine, especially ones that teach, we've all been feeling a sense of Zoom exhaustion. Now, I'm sure that like if you are teaching anything on Zoom, you can probably relate to this because we need in-person energy, I think, giving and receiving. And when we don't get that, it kind of feels like, I don't know. I can only equate it to like a stand-up comedian who has a crappy audience and says a punchline and you're like, oh God, no one's laughing, crap. so yeah, it has been a bit of a struggle, not gonna lie. But on the other side of things, I think that it has been nice for dancers who, well, not even necessarily dancers, but people who have not had the guts to come to an in-person dance class or have been having some reservations around that because they feel like it's completely judgment-free if you're attending a class from the comfort of your own living room or wherever you are. And so that's been really lovely because I've been having people coming to my classes that have never done any kind of dance before or like they're just, wanting to try something new. So in that sense, I'm grateful for the online platform for that reason and that reason only. But yeah.
Say that because like I've been a dancer most of my life, but I haven't been attending classes, probably for the last 8 years, because I've been in the trenches and haven't had a chance to attend them. And this year I kind of made a pact to myself. I was like, I'm going to go dance classes, singing classes. I'm like going to go back and retrain because I've had a good few years off. And I panicked because I started my transition about 3 years ago, so I haven't kind of done much performing since then. I've done the odd things here and there, but I was having so much anxiety about attending these dance classes and trying to find a space which was like accepting and welcoming. So it's like I haven't done any online classes. My schedule hasn't permitted it as such, but it's really good to kind of hear that aspect of it as well, because I didn't even really think about that.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
But it's been lovely because I've just been remembering, like, I think I got to a point in my career where I kind of lost the joy of exploring and dancing and experimenting, because it all became a job. It was work. And I, the other day I was walking down the street and I just remembered that sense of elation that I used to have when I was dancing. And and it was that it was specifically being in classes and not feeling like you're in competition with each other, but having other people around you to kind of be like, oh, I need to get a bit better at that, or oh my god, that looks amazing, I'd love to do that. It was such a healthy it was a healthy competitive space, because you're like, everyone is, can only do what their body can do, basically. So you can't be like, well, why am I not like them? It's because we've got different bodies, and it's I miss that.
Yeah, well, I mean, never too late to get back into it in some way, shape, or form. And I think the more that I have been really like sitting and stewing and marinating over this, the more I'm like, okay, you may not be able to do ABC right now, and that's okay. That you can come back to that, but for now, let's do something that you're comfortable with, so that you can start to kind of drip feedback through to the stuff that you initially want to end up with. So for one thing that will always and forever make me move is like dancehall music, like reggaeton, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's one kind of music where I'm like, if I hear it, I can't not dance, So it's a bit of a comfort zone for me, I think. So I know, even if I'm feeling very resistant to doing some other stuff, like especially like, if it's jazz or if it's like any classical form of dance or even contemporary, I'm like, oh, that feels very intimidating right now. But dancehall, I'll find my groove, I'll work on that for a bit, then I'll move back into like the hip hop stuff, and then kind of gravitate towards the other stuff eventually. I think it's just like, it's finding what movement works for you at the time. And sometimes that's not even dance. Sometimes that's just yoga. Sometimes that's just like, it's HIIT training or boxing. It's just like, I think as long as you're keeping your body moving in some way, when the dance bug is there, I feel like it's always there, so like it will call you back eventually. Like you said, Miss Cairo, you had that moment where you're like, oh, I missed that. I mean, did you feel like you were called to kind of move in some way?
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like, I feel like I've been held back by my own brain sometimes. Like, I used to be dancing all the time. Like, even when I wasn't in classes, it was who I was. But yeah, and I felt so much resistance of being like, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you don't have the skill. Like, all of the negative self-talk that was there.
You're not thin enough. You're not flexible enough. You're not everything. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm actually grateful about this year, is that, I made a decision at the beginning of this year to go back into performing. It was such a light bulb moment to be like, that is my calling. That's always been my calling, and I've lost my focus with it. But let's do it. And I was doing really well. I was picking up some really amazing jobs. And then obviously COVID hit. But it's been an absolute perfect time for me to do all of this other work on myself, all the mental health work that we as performers don't really get time to do. Our lives have been kind of revolved around discipline and this and that and that. And we, then we get thrown out into the world, and we don't have a chance to kind of deconstruct a lot of those things that we were taught, and all of those, and I'm going to say all those negative things that we were taught. Like, there's always positives to negatives, but I think that there is some really damaging traits in the performing arts industry, and especially in dance as well, which we do need to start looking at. And I'm grateful that other people have, dancers have had time to go, oh wait, I don't need to be dancing all the time. I can actually have a break. It is okay to do.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, yes, there is that element of like fear for when you do eventually start training again, but like you can get it back. Even if you are broken and injured like I am, like you can, it's possible. It's possible. And it's good for you.
I also just wanted to quickly touch on, so, you know, I've been looking at your videos and I think you're amazing.
Thank
You
you.
also do drag and burlesque as well, and I'm really keen to hear just a little synopsis of what you do within that.
A little bit of that. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I do burlesque, but I don't necessarily identify as a burlesque performer because I feel like I think I have such a broad range of performance styles that, you know, it's something that I do, and it's something that I do, yeah, cabaret. I like to say cabaret, queer cabaret performer, because it's like it's all encompassing.
Cabaret with a Q.
But I guess, yeah. Oh yes, cabaret.
Hashtag going now.
Yeah, cabaret. So I think that although I put in elements of burlesque into my performances, it's an element, but it's not how do I say it? It's not the main focus, I guess. So ultimately, when I'm creating work, my biggest thing is storyline and storytelling. And so I think that with burlesque, it's like, as you know, it's amazing and it's empowering, but I like to use my performances with a commentary on something or a storyline, or, you know, depending on the context. Like if it's humorous and silly, there's always something like that I'm poking fun at and critiquing in the real world, like whether it be, you know, religious hypocrisy, or, you know, whether it be like abuse. Sometimes it gets really heavy and I'm not afraid to go to those dark places, but I think that burlesque is an amazing art form in itself, because I think it puts, what I love about the burlesque world is that it is so open to putting all sorts of bodies and people on stage. And I think that what it trumps in the dance community is, with the dance community, you're very used to seeing one type of person and body. And it's only now that we're starting to kind of change things up there a little bit. And within the queer performance world, I think we've always been pretty inclusive, but within the burlesque world, now we're having this really interesting fusion where there are both of these two different things coming together. And, you know, the burlesque world has gone like, yes, let's do this. We've always stood for like body positivity, but it's time to diversify things even more. So yeah, so I think that my work kind of fit in there pretty well.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Well, this is your Anne Fractious is your Instagram handle, and that's where everyone can find you. Is there anything you need to plug, or any shows?
Anything I want to plug? Not, I mean, there's a few, but they're all kind of either under wraps right now, or like we're drip feeding info. But if you want to keep in touch with like the progress of my dance film and with a show that I'll be doing for Melbourne Fringe, you can follow me down there. And yeah, I'll be drip feeding some very exciting news very soon when I'm allowed to.
Well, we look forward to hearing about that. Thank you so much for coming on today. You are an absolute gem, and I can't wait to continually follow your journey. We're gonna
Yes, likewise.
after this as well. You know, which people can access maybe at a later date. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Miss Cairo.
Bye. Oh my God, Sham is amazing and adorable, and I am in love. Thank you so much for sticking around today. My absolute sincere apologies for the sound. We will be getting that sorted by next week. Remember the hashtag IGiveMyself. Concentrate on self-care this week. We are going to be allowed to go for walks with people. You know, our lockdown is still extended, but there's some changes that have been made. So make sure that you continue to wear your mask, social distance, follow the law, be good. But just make sure that you stay safe and reach out to people, stay connected, and be kind to yourself. I just want to thank Antipodes Theatre for hosting today, and for Mel and for Brandon. And I want to thank Chloe Towan for doing the graphics design, and for my partner Greg Dennis, who did the lovely photo of me. I want to thank our guest today, Shamita, who was amazing. And I want to give thanks to myself as well, because I am beautiful and talented. And I want you all at home to say this with me. I am kind, I am loved, and I am beautiful. And if you can't say it, it's fine, but just try and say it at least one time this week. So I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week and stay safe. Outro music. La, 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 la.